Okay. The meeting is recording. So for those of you who are just joining, welcome. I just wanted to let everybody know that I am recording the meeting. I'm just waiting for a few more people, it seems like, that are trying to join. So I'll wait about 2 more minutes and then we'll get started. It's so nice to see students on the meeting. Hi, kids. I think we'll go ahead and get started. It looks like everybody, I think, is in. Oh, one more. I think Del Monte, it's on my end, it's showing that you're joining, but I'm not sure if you were able to get in or not. Oh, I think you're in. Okay. All right. Well, welcome. Thank you for joining. I am recording this meeting. So, oh, we have 2 more in the waiting room. Let's try this again. Okay, welcome. Thank you for joining today. I am recording this meeting as an FYI. So if you have any personal questions that you would like to ask in particular about your child, I suggest that you email me privately just because this is being recorded and will be posted on our school YouTube page. So we want to make sure that we maintain confidentiality. With that being said, I'm excited to be here. It looks like most of you are returning families, so I don't think I need to explain the block schedule. So we just had the incoming 6th grade meeting. I spent a few minutes going over the incoming, I'm sorry, not the incoming, the block schedule that we normally have in a normal year, and I went over the web orientation as well. But I don't think we need to do that for this group of families. But I do think that we do that I do want to spend a few minutes just kind of going over what our schedule for next year will look like in terms of some new additional course offerings that we're offering. So if you're interested in taking some additional courses, you will have that opportunity as well. So we just introduced a middle school productions class as well, and which we're really excited about. So that will that we're getting ready to get started. We also have introduced a intro to visual arts class, which is primarily for our 6th grade families. And then we're also excited that we will provide all students an opportunity to take 8 classes. And I do suggest that all students take 8 classes. I think it will provide them an opportunity to take an additional arts class. However, if it doesn't fit for your schedule, you can opt out. So all students will be signed up for 8 classes, but they can opt out of their 8th class if they want and just take 7. And so the middle school productions class, if you signed up for it, you are in. And Miss Pollard and Mr. Gott will be reaching out with more information on that once they return in August. We've also introduced a 9th period class as well, which is a NCS choir that we're really excited about as well. And so, but that choir is during 9th period. And so if you're interested in taking the NCS choir, that class will be running from 3:05 until I believe 3:45. I would have to look at the schedule exactly. So when you come and pick up your schedule on the 11th, you will also have the opportunity to check out Chromebooks. Not opportunity. What I mean by that is all students will be checking out Chromebooks as well. And so if you have your own device, then you do still have the opportunity to check it out. I actually recommend that all students actually sign up for the Chromebook, and I do recommend that all students check one out just in case your particular device doesn't work. At least they have their own Chromebook from the school that will have all of the apps. But if you prefer to use your own device, you can definitely do that. When you pick up your schedules, you will also have an opportunity to pick up your art kits. So if you're taking a visual arts course, they will be providing you with your individual kits as well. Then on August 7th, you'll be getting an email with all of the supplies that you will need for your classes that are recommended for you to purchase. And if you can't purchase them, we will obviously always provide it as well. And then I think the other piece of information that I wanted to also go over is that when we do switch to hybrid learning, we will have the distance learning option available as well, still for our families as well. So other than that, I actually don't want to spend too much time talking. I actually would rather spend more time answering your questions. Those were just some common questions, threads that I've received so far that I wanted to take a few minutes to respond to before I get into the Q&A from the chat box. So just as a clarification, on August 11th, you will be coming to campus to pick up your schedules, your instruments, your art supplies. The time frame will be somewhere between 11:30 and 2:30. We are finalizing that as we speak. So more information on that will be coming. I'll be sending an email out at our next weekly update. I will attach the schedule on there. Also, we are starting with distance learning, and so you will still have the opportunity to take all of your planned courses. All students will be signed up for 8 courses automatically. You can opt out of an 8th class if you prefer to. You will just fill out the school a change of request form, which will be sent out on the day that you pick up your schedule. And then on the day that you pick up your schedule, you will also be checking out your Chromebooks as well, and instruments and all of that. So that will be on the 11th, somewhere between 11:30 and 2:30. We haven't finalized the time just yet. So that's just some basic questions that I've received. And then I'm going to admit some more people in, and then I will get to the chat box. Okay, first question is the choir for all middle grades? So the choir is for all students going from 7th grade and above. So if you're in 7th grade, it would apply to you. The middle school students will need to reach out to Mr. Cunningham and audition for that, but the audition will be virtual just to make sure that they're ready for the NCS choir. So you would just reach out to Mr. Cunningham, and then he will provide you audition information. And then the next question is, if we still have our Chromebook from the summer, do we need to bring it when we pick up our schedules and other materials? Yes, please do return that. And the reason is because once you return it, we'll be able to re-image it, and then so you'll actually get a new one. So you want the actual new one because we've ordered one-on-one Chromebooks for all students, and so they're almost here, and so it's in your best interest to return that so you can get a new one. And then is schedule pickup definitely on 8/11 for returning students? You know, that's a hard question to answer. I don't want to say anything definitely because things are changing every day. My plan as of today and as of last Friday and last week is that the middle school students will be picking up their schedules on the 11th, and high school students will be picking up their schedules on the 10th. that is my plan, and that is what I'm moving forward with. But I don't want to say anything definitely, but as things change, I will definitely update families right away. Will there be homework in addition to classwork? So that's a good question. With regards to that question, so everything will be within their instructional day. So attendance is calculated very differently during this time. In a traditional sense, when we were in the traditional environment, attendance was calculated based on butts and seats. Attendance now is not calculated that way. Attendance is calculated on, are you attending your live sessions, and are you attending your advisory? Are you completing your assignments? There's a work completion equivalency that the schools have to report to the state. So attendance is calculated differently. So a teacher is not going to necessarily assign homework, but everything counts as part of their instructional time and their minutes. So I'm not sure if that answered your question directly or not, but there won't be actually homework assigned, but everything is part of their instruction. So what they complete in the classroom during live instruction will count, in addition to what they complete during independent time, either in the middle of the period or on Wednesdays when they're doing independent learning on that day as well. So everything counts. Attendance is just calculated by the state very differently right now. Will students be expected to bring their Chromebooks to campus when the hybrid model is initiated? That's a great question. And, you know, we don't have an answer to that yet. There's two thoughts right now. One is, yes, they should, because then they'll be allowed an opportunity to connect with the students who are at home during that collaborative time. The other thought process in that is, well, no, because when they're in class, we want to maximize the time in class with the actual teacher as well, so that they have teacher access. And so we haven't made a full-on decision on that just yet. I'm also concerned about if they bring their Chromebooks to school. I'm concerned about them losing them, you know, during lunch. I'm also concerned about them not being fully charged, because they are kids. And so I wanted to actually, this is a great question. I think that what are your thoughts as parents? What are your thoughts on that? Do you think they should be allowed to bring it? What are your thoughts on that? I would love to hear what your framework on that is. Anyone? No one?
I think it should depend on if they're going to be using Chromebooks at school, because I think we don't want them, there aren't going to be other sets at school because we want to minimize them cross-contaminating, right?
Correct.
So probably just seems like it should be, we should find out what the teachers want them to be doing, and if they need them, they should bring them. But
right, yeah.
And I would agree with that. I think it should be teacher discretion, but from my perspective as a teacher during this time, when kids do go back to the hybrid model or go to the hybrid model, the purpose of in-person instruction should be more non-tech. It should be more of a social, personal kind of connection. Unless, of course, that course requires a lot of tech work and kids need the support. But I think the majority of the time period should be on non-tech interaction if you're on campus.
Any other thoughts on that?
Yeah, and I wrote this question because I was given the schedule that was shared at the last meeting. It looked like that there would be consideration for students who are at home to be able to somehow collaborate with kids on campus. So that really kind of made me think, well, then there should be a requirement to have Chromebooks on campus. But thinking of my student, my child, I have concerns about their ability to keep track of it and keep it safe. And yeah, so that's why I had asked that question. But I think it's important to somehow be able to connect to kids who do choose to do distance learning and be able to have that collaboration time.
Yeah, and I think it's also important for us, and again, I want to make it clear, we have not made a decision one way or the other. This is why I wanted to have this meeting. You know, this was actually one of my questions that I did want to bring up for the middle school families, because something else that I want to make sure that I say is that what I don't want it to turn into is, oh, this is the cohort A students and these are the cohort B students. You know, we're all still one academy, and we are all still one school. And so my only concern is that, you know, I worry that if we make a decision to say no Chromebooks or whatnot, I think what it might turn into also is that, well, then the cohort A students can't collaborate with the cohort B students unless they're off campus. During school time, they're not going to be able to. But then my other concern is losing it, not charging it. So these are all the things that we're definitely grappling with as well as a staff. And so we have not made a decision on that yet. And so that's kind of why I wanted to get parental input. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to have this meeting as well. I think, Wendy,
yeah. Here's another consideration and this goes with Chromebooks, cell phones, backpacks, and all of those things that students would be bringing back onto campus in a hybrid model. Those are all surfaces that are the hardest to decontaminate. So if they are bringing things to school, they are then setting them there. And if they are getting things at school, they are now bringing them home. And it's not something that you can easily fix with a mask or social distancing or things of that nature. And if our students are going to be moving from classroom to classroom, as opposed to staying at one desk at school all day long, then they're going to be moving their stuff from classroom to classroom as well. So I just know that with the return to work policies that a lot of the businesses and offices are trying to put together, that's one of their big issues, is that it's one thing if you cover your mouth, it's another thing, everything else that you're bringing in and then taking home. So that's something to consider in the policy.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing that question up too, because I think it's important that it's discussed, and I want parental input as well on that. So if you think of anything else about this particular question as well, you know, I welcome feedback on that. We have not made a decision one way or the other yet. I think our focus right now is to start distance learning and to really hone in on that first, and then when the time comes, we will be prepared for whatever we decide to do. The next question that I was asked was, will Khan Academy be part of the curriculum? At this time, no. We are using iReady, and then we've also adopted a new math curriculum, CPM, that I'm personally really excited about as well. Leading Edge and PFAA, we're really trying to be one NCS while keeping our separate nuances as an academy as well. But we really want to make sure that there's a nice bridge between all of the different academies. So we've adopted CPM, College Preparatory Mathematics, and it's a very rigorous curriculum, but but what I love about it is that it's all hands-on. Literally all hands-on. So and so our teachers are currently going through workshops where they're going to be learning how do you incorporate the hands-on learning part remotely. And so they're currently attending multiple workshops on that. and it was a teacher developed curriculum as well. I've personally also used CPM as I've been a CPM parent as well. My child, who does not attend PFAA, but he's also been a product of CPM. He currently is going into 7th grade, and he has used CPM since last year. And then I've also led multiple workshops on CPM as well, and so I do see the value in it. It's rigorous, but it's very much hands-on learning, which I really appreciate, and I think our kids need that. They need those manipulatives to be playing with. So I'm really excited about that. The next question was, can students opt out of an 8th period but still go to choir during 9th period? So their 9th period class would be their 8th period. So they would opt out of the 8th class but take the 9th period choir, but then that would still mean that they're taking 8 classes. That's all that means. So yes, they can opt out of their 8th class during the school day, but they will need a place to go between 8th and 9th period. So that's something that you'll have to definitely navigate. We can't have students on campus staggering around. So we're going to need to work around that. But if you email me individually, once you've talked to Mr. Cunningham, I can work with you on how to get your student in choir, but not in 8th class. The next question that we have is, in September, will we enter hybrid learning? I think, as Dr. Wood mentions, your crystal ball is as good as mine. We don't know. It's kind of hard to say. Our hope is that we are back to school as soon as possible in the hybrid manner. Yes, I definitely agree. Yes, absolutely. As a parent, that's our goal, but we want them to return safely. And so we just don't know. We will try our best. But we have to follow what the guidelines tell us.
I can add one little piece to that from my Friday meeting with the public health officer. Literally, it's like every day right now. I'm Mr. Wood, by the way, or Dr. Wood, if we haven't met before. Also, you can just call me Joe. I'm a fellow PFAA parent. I have a incoming 7th grader. So the latest that we have been informed as of Friday is that, probably based on the way the metrics are trending right now, the public health officer is thinking maybe by mid-September we would be off the monitoring list, but it's completely based on people's behaviors right now. People, if they're wearing their masks, socially distancing, not going to parties, washing their hands, the more that can happen, the sooner we can get schools open. So if you know anyone who's not following the rules, I'll have a coaching conversation with them. But so they're really looking at that, and then looking at how we're getting increased testing in our community. So as testing capacity grows and cases go down, then hopefully, campuses would open. There is the possibility that elementary campuses may open before middle or high school campuses. So that may be something that we see down the road. But she was thinking for middle and high school, if all goes well, hopefully mid-September. So we're kind of tentatively playing with the idea that everyone will do what they need to do. And maybe by Labor Day, then we can have a conversation about, maybe in 2 weeks, or maybe by fall break, which fall break is the end of the first quarter. So that's October 2nd. So, our hope is that we can be, back to hybrid learning by mid-September to early October. So we can at least get kids on campus a few days a week. But as Dr. Gandhi mentioned, it's really completely based on what the public as a whole is going to do.
Thank you. And then our next question is, when is the sign up for the Chromebook? So you actually don't need to sign up when you come pick up your schedules on August 11th. Everybody will go through multiple stations. So if you returned your books at the end of the year last year, you kind of saw how there's a path that every student follows, one way in and one way out. And so one of your stations will be to pick up your Chromebooks, pick up your agreement as well, your supplies, schedules, and all of that. The next question is the time frame you described for scheduled pickup overlaps with 6th grade orientation. How do 8th grade web leaders pick up schedules and supplies? So that's a great question. So, the web orientation runs from 9 to 11:30, and so we're going to have staggered pickup times between 11:30 and 2:30. So you don't necessarily know your time just yet. We will probably start with 7th grade first because 8th grade has web as mentors, and 6th grade has obviously their web orientation. So they need time to get in the car and get to school. So we'll probably start with the 7th grade first, and then 6th grade, and then end with 8th grade. So we'll have some staggered times. We'll release those times in a few days. The next question is, will there be an orientation for 7th graders? I'm new. No, we won't have an actual official orientation for 7th graders, but what Web does is Web will set you up with a mentor who's in 8th grade so that you can still get a virtual tour of the school, and you will also get an opportunity to have a mentor that you can check in with on a regular basis, in particular on Wednesdays during advisory. So we do offer the support, and so we just don't have an official orientation for 7th graders. Next question is, if they have a laptop, are they supposed to bring their laptop, or are you giving Chromebooks to everyone? So everyone will get a Chromebook, and everyone will check it out on the 11th. The next question is, my daughter's new to the school and she wants to know if she's able to change her focus from what we originally put in the online application. Absolutely. This is the time to change. Your mind should be changing on a regular basis. And so you don't actually truly pick a focus until you get to high school. So you should be changing your focus every day. You should one day love music and the other day love visual arts, or you should love all of them equally right now. You are not in a stage in your life right now where you should really be just focusing on one thing. If you would like to change your class on the 11th, when you get your schedule in your email, you will also find a change request form. You just fill it out, and then Mr. Malay or myself or Ms. Shank Tiffany will call you in to change your class. The next question is, are there resources and tools to help support the learning environment for at-home distance learning, especially for parents who need who sees needs for their child while we see needs come up? So that's a great question. So we will have virtual office hours every day during distance learning from 3 to 4, and that's a time for your student and for parents to actually log on as well to get the support that you need. And then not only that, when we switch to hybrid learning, we will have small group instruction, so the teachers will be able to support the students during independent practice time. We will also have virtual office hours during hybrid learning for our students who are on distance learning as well. And those office hours will be from 3 to 4 every day after school. So if they have questions, they can ask then as well. And then additionally, we're also planning to have some learning hubs here on campus as well for our most vulnerable students. And so we're working on developing that and getting it situated. We're just waiting for some more guidance from the state on what we can and can't do per the guidelines. The next question is, also, will there be an orientation so they can get a scheduled tour of the school so they know where to go for classes? That's a great question. So if you are a incoming 6th grade family, I had a meeting prior to this where we talked about that. If you're an incoming 7th grade student where you're new, or an incoming 8th grade student, we will, the web mentors will be able to provide your student with a virtual tour of the campus as well. We are currently filming the campus, and the web leaders will stop and say, okay, if you need to see a counselor, this is where you go and this is how you get there. It's pretty cool how they're filming the the entire campus, and they're going to turn it into a virtual tour. So yes, that will be available. The next question is, so iReady will not be used for math. iReady will be used for math as well. Yes, we definitely need to have a diagnostic, because we need to see, we acknowledge that there's a COVID slide and there's a summer slide as well. That just naturally occurs. So we really want to do a diagnostic right away. I am planning for the diagnostic on iReady to be after Labor Day, with the hopes that we're all back together in a hybrid environment so that students can take their iReady diagnostic on campus. However, if we are not together in a hybrid environment, students after Labor Day will take a diagnostic, but the diagnostic will be at home. So more information on that will be coming shortly. The programs will be CPM for math and iReady for reading. No, so the curriculum that we're using is CPM for math, and the intervention and acceleration tool and iReady instruction will be used to fill in gaps and also accelerate students as well. How will incoming 7th graders who were not in the 6th grade at PFAA be placed in math? So that's a great question. So all students will no longer be accelerated until 7th grade. So with this new curriculum, CPM, they are recommending that all incoming 6th graders take Math A. At the end of Math A, they will take a assessment. And if they pass the assessment, have teacher recommendations, and have an A or a B in the class, they will be recommended for the Math BC course, which is the accelerated course. And then in 8th grade, they would then take the integrated Math 1. If you're already a 7th grader, and then you will automatically go into Math B like every other 7th grader. If you're an 8th grader, you will automatically go into Math C. If you've already been part of PFAA and you've already been accelerated, then that acceleration that you started with will continue. We're just going to phase it out slowly. If you're an incoming 7th grader, you automatically, all 7th grade students will take Math B. However, if you would like to take the MDPT assessment to see if you would like your child to be accelerated, we can do that as well. FYI, the PFAA portion of the website doesn't have the 2020-21 school year calendar. Thank you. I will add that in today by the end of the day. I was not aware of that. Thank you. I may have missed this, but during the time of at-home learning, will they have a designated time to check in for each class? Yes. So school will start for all students in distance learning or in hybrid from 9 to 3. So that doesn't mean that they're on the computer from 9 a.m. till 3 p.m. I want to make that very, very clear. So there will be times where they will get an opportunity to log off and go work on independent practice, and then they will log back on at the end of the period. So each period will be broken down in the following way. The first 15 to 30 minutes will be live instruction, where the teachers will take attendance, do a mini lesson, do a demonstration, and also give directions. The next 30 minutes-ish will be time for them to either log off and go work independently, or do a small group instruction with the teacher. So for an example, the teacher may say, okay, everybody, you can log off and go work on questions 5 through 8. And then she may say, but I want 5 of you to stay back because I want to support you. I want to help you. I want to practice with you a little bit more. And then everybody logs back on at the end of the period as a closure, attendance taking again, and answer any whole group questions that the students may have. Similarly, this format may look a little bit different in your arts classes. If your student is in a dance class and they're taking ballet 1, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to go practice point on your own. So the teacher may keep everybody on so that they can all practice together. Or during PE, Mr. Farwig may make a decision that we're going to all work out together for the next hour. Or if you're taking a theater class you know, and you're rehearsing your lines. Your instructor or your director may want you to stay logged on so that you can rehearse all together in a virtual environment. So it's really going to be dependent, but expect your student to be in school from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and then office hours from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. There is a lunch built in, there is a break built in, but no, the students will not be on all the time from 9 to 3. The next question is, let me see. Oh, is there a back to school for 7th grade? So all classes, all teachers, and all grades will have a back to school night. We are prepping for back to school night to be after school starts. We're thinking about whether we wanted to do it before school starts or after school starts. We decided that we're going to do it after school starts so that students, families, everybody kind of have a time to adjust and meet their teachers and staff. And so it'll probably be the week after school starts. I will send more information on that. It will be virtual, and the teachers will log on to in a similar fashion, Google Meet, Zoom session, so that they can show you their classroom, go over expectations, go over, you know, all the fun things that our teachers go over, and a supply list, recommended supply lists, will come out on August 7th as well. Please re-explain what math incoming 7th grader students will do if they did math B in 6th grade. So if your student already took math B in 6th grade, they can take the MDPT assessment. So all you would need to do is reach out to me. I will connect you with our department chair, and your child will take that assessment. And if they pass the assessment with 85% accuracy, we will move them on to the next level of math. Keeping in mind, though, that we are implementing a new curriculum, so it is a rigorous curriculum. So, you know, you may want to think about whether or not it's the best decision or not for your child. But definitely, we have that assessment and placement test still available. Just email me, and I'll link you up with our department chair. Should we return the Chromebooks from the summer before the 11th, or can they just exchange for a new one on the 11th? You can just bring it on the 11th, and then you can just exchange it. That's fine. Is there a back to list, a school list for 7th grade? Yes, it will be sent out on the 7th. Our teachers return back to work on the 6th. So as soon as they return, I will get the list and I'll send it out on the 7th. Are the students being assigned to classes, or do we sign them up? So all students, if they were at PFAA last year, should have selected some of their courses, some of their arts courses. If your child did not select a course, go ahead and reach out to Mr. Malay or Ms. Shank Tiffany so that we can set you up with your courses. Will NCS still be offering hot lunch even in distance learning? Yes, we will be receiving our lunch through Natomas Unified, so it will be a grab and go format, just like it's been going all summer and also last year as well after the closure. Will there be tutors available to help the kids through this new way of learning? So our teachers are going to be available for support. We will also be having our community meetings as well. So this is the perfect time for me to now link in our P4A president, Miss Wendy Hill, who will kind of talk about how we're all going to work together to support each other, because it really does take a community in this new way of learning. Wendy, I'll let you take over.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. For those of you that are returning, you might be familiar with hearing the acronym P4A, which is Parents for the Arts. Just to give you a brief background about P4A, We are a parent-run organization. We are our own 501c3. So we are separate from the school, but it's sometimes hard to determine that because we work so closely with the school. P4A was created many years ago as a way to help fundraise and provide support to the arts classes on campus. As for those of you that are returning, which I know many of you are, you know that you've gotten lots of inquiries from us about Jamba Juice cards, C's candy, different events, including our super big multi-tens of thousands of dollars crab feed. For those of you that don't remember from last year, the crab feed was supposed to happen on March 12th, and we were closed down on March 11th. Yay, so crab feed didn't happen. And all of that end of the year fundraising that comes in doesn't happen as well. And given the situation that many of our families are in terms of, you know, economic situations, working from home, not working, not having a job, all of these things, we've spent a good amount of time over the summer trying to pivot the organization so that we can be more of a parent communication, parent support system for this upcoming very unique year. So with that said, we kind of have broken down our plan into two different things. First of all, we do still need to have some element of fundraising and event planning because there are still going to be things that are going on campus, and we want to be able to seamlessly return back to what we know of as live in-person teaching normal school, right? The second thing that we really want to focus on is how we can best provide support, not just to our students during this time, but to each other as we're trying to handle this crazy thing that is so new to so many of us. Okay, so the way that we're doing that is we do have a leadership team, and the leadership team are basically parents that want to do more than just participate in something that we're doing. Participation is amazing. If that's all you can do is join a Zoom meeting or sign up for something or something like that, please do what it is that you feel that you can do. But if you want to be able to give a little bit more, we would urge you to take a look at some of the opportunities that are going to be coming out on our leadership team. It's sort of broken up into 4 different groups. We have the executive committee, which, as I said before, since we are a 501c3 nonprofit, we do have to have those officers, the president, the vice president, the treasurer, the secretary, the people that are sort of doing the administrative running of the organization. We also have a number of operating committees. So those are things like the fundraising committee, the communications committee, the updating bylaws and policy committee, lots of different things that are sort of around organizing the various different programs and things that we do on campus. We also have our booster clubs. For those of you that are returning, know that we have our parent support booster clubs that help support the various different art programs. So we've got visual art, instrumental, we've got drama, we've got vocal, we've got dance. Those folks are going to be super important to helping our department heads and our instructors help pull off some of these virtual things, which are brand new things in terms of performances and so forth. So we'll definitely need some good parent support there. And then finally, what we're really trying to beef up this year is the class, the grade specific support. So in the past, we've had just 1 or 2 class representatives that have sort of, you know, had a couple events and helped organize, you know, different teacher appreciation breakfasts and things of that nature. What we're really looking for is a handful of people from each grade that want to help put forward some like specific, you know, Zoom support systems and things of that nature for parents. Like, you know, for example, if you have 8th graders and, you know, we have this thing called portfolio, and I'm a first-time 8th grade parent, and I've heard about portfolio, don't know exactly what it is, but I have to imagine that it's something that's going to be a little bit difficult or different than any other parent's experience, given our like virtual learning. In fact, my daughter said to me, "Mom, does that mean you're going to be my portfolio advisor?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what is that?" So, you know, it would be really great if we were able to, you know, plan a Zoom meeting for those 8th grade parents with so the 8th grade advisor teachers to kind of talk us through things and so forth. There are lots of grade specific things that are helpful for us to be able to have some more sort of powwow time. So you're going to start getting more communications from us for the time being until we get all of your new emails so that we can send out something specifically from P4A. You'll get information in Dr. Gandhi's weekly newsletters that go out on Fridays. At the very bottom, we'll have some information about P4A. You'll also be able to find information on our Facebook group page, and you'll also be able to get information on our website once one of you amazing web savvy volunteers steps up to help me update it. Yes. And so in the meantime, if you are interested in helping to get involved in sort of this before school planning, we are doing planning meetings via Zoom right now. You can shoot me an email at P4A president@gmail.com, and I can get you hooked into the leadership team meetings prior to the start of school. So thank you all so much. It's so good to see faces. I hope that we'll get to see each other in person soon. And the last little tidbit that I want to kind of put out there, and this is something that that I read around graduation last year. And it's sort of about perspective. And I'm saying this because a lot of us, you know, if we have 7th and 8th graders, most of us experienced PFAA last year, right? So we have a lot of expectations that we kind of expect that the school year is going to be like for our 7th graders and our 8th graders. Somebody had told me that around graduation that if you put your expectations on people, like if you put your expectations on your kids, like, oh my gosh, this year, you know, this virtual performance is not going to be the same as the live performance. Like, I'm so sorry that you are going to miss out on this experience of the live performance. If you put that expectation, that's your expectation. They're still going to experience something virtually, and it's going to be something completely different than what our expectations are, because we know what we're supposed to expect. So I just hope that we can all continue to remind each other that, like, our own personal grief about how our expectations aren't being met, if we're able to share that with each other instead of our kids, it's really going to allow for them to have a super amazing experience. So that's another reason why I really want us to be able to take, because, you know, we are all going to want to like just go off about how crazy things are and how difficult things are. And I think that if we can use each other as that bouncing board instead of putting those missed expectations on our kids, that I think our kids are going to be so much better off for it. So thank you all so much. See you soon.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. There are a lot of questions. I want to make sure that I answer all of them. But
Hey, Dr. Gandhi, I
Yeah.
apologize. Can I answer? Can I ask? Or can I answer? I won't add to your questions. I'm going to answer the lunch questions because I saw some lunch questions popped up, and some updates happened just during this meeting. So the free grab and go lunches that everyone's been coming and getting will actually end on August 11th. And then on August 12th, there'll still be a grab and go lunch program, but students will be charged based on their free, reduced, or paid lunch status. The district is still working out the exact logistics of what that's going to look like in terms of pulling up in the parking lot and all of that. So we'll let you know as soon as they figure that out. But if your family's financial status has changed in over the last few months, I would encourage you to fill out the free or reduced lunch application. And it's available on the school district website, on the Natomas Unified website. I can find it and post it in the chat in just a minute. But then that way you would be set up for free or reduced, when that transition happens. And if you have students in Natomas Unified Schools, the same transition will happen when they start school on August 27th. Okay. So.
Thank you. So just like Dr. Wood said, I think the biggest thing is be prepared to be flexible. Things are going to change literally minute by minute, day by day, hour by hour. So just be flexible. Moving on with the next question, what will the first day of school look like? That's a great question. So school starts on a Wednesday, and according to our distance learning plan, on Wednesday, students are learning independently. We are working to develop a schedule so that actually students are able to meet all of their teachers on Wednesday. So more information on that will be released on August 7th as well, when I send out the supply list. So the Wednesday schedule for the first day of school will look different, and that's because we want all of the students to meet their teachers. It's kind of awkward to start the first day of school and not meet your teachers. So it will be a meet and greet virtually, but nonetheless, it will be a meet and greet. Okay, and then the next question is, we are new to the school, so does our kids also need to reach out to sign up for classes? So all students will be signed up for 8 classes, even if you're new. If you want to change any of your classes that you're signed up for, you can submit a schedule request change form, which will be in your child's email box when they come and pick up their schedule on the 11th. Is the official first day of school Wednesday, August 12th? Yes. And then you're welcome. I thank you so much for all the information. It is appreciated. You're welcome. The next is, if your child doesn't remember if they picked classes for this year, is there a way to check? So I personally don't have access to that. Our counselors have already developed schedules. So I think the best thing to do at this point is to wait until your child gets their schedule on the 11th, and then you can go over the schedule with them, and then you can submit a change request form if it's not a class that they want to take now. When will we find out if we are in cohort A or B, and are we able to choose? So I will let Dr. Wood answer that question about cohort A or B.
So we're not asking anyone to sign up for cohort A or B at this point. We're going to wait until we get closer to students actually being back on campus. What our experience has been through this entire COVID process is that everyone's needs change dynamically, day by day, week by week. And so it makes no sense to really ask people to sign up yet. I also know, NP3 and Westlake kind of did it earlier, but even they're going to probably have to revisit their cohorts and that sort of stuff. So that's why we thought, let's just let distance learning start, let everyone get settled in that. And then when we get closer to understanding our cohort process, we'll ask you guys to sign up for that.
Perfect. Thank you. How much time will students get for lunch? Does the student need to be in the car with us? If we are picking up lunch from the school, it will take 30 to 40 minutes to pick up and come home. I think Dr. Wood has already addressed that question, so I'm going to skip it. But if there's any part of the question that he didn't address, just go ahead and ask on the bottom again, and I'll make sure to answer it. How do I go about changing my email address from old one to new one? That's a great question. You can either email Molly Smith directly, or you can email me and I can connect you to, and then they can change it in PowerSchool for you. Okay. So is there a list of classes for our kids to look at to know what classes are actually available? So that list came out last year towards the end of the year, the class offerings went out to all of the current 6th and 7th grade students. If you were not at PFAA at that time, then you obviously did not get the course offerings. I can send that to you if you want to send me an email. I'm happy to share that document with you as well. You're welcome. Let's see. Is 9th period every day or only 2 days per week? So let me share my screen with you so you could see what it looks like. Is everyone able to see my screen? Thumbs up if you can. Okay, perfect. So in distance learning, this is what a sample schedule will look like. And again, I do not expect you to have all of this memorized. We will have copies of this available on when you come to pick up schedules on the 11th. We will have physical copies, and we will also post it on our website as well, so that you have a digital copy as well. This is a draft, which is why I don't want to share it out just yet, but it will be ready for all families on the 11th. And the reasoning for that it's a draft is because, as you have seen, things are changing hourly, daily so I'm hesitant to share it out and to pass it out just yet, but it will be available on the 11th, physical copies and digital copies as well. So 9th period will be every day on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, but not Wednesdays, because remember, Wednesdays are an independent learning day, and it will be from 3:05 to 3:45. And this is just for if you're interested in taking the NCS choir, it does require an audition, so you will need to reach out to Mr. Cunningham for that. Okay, any other, I think I've answered all the questions on here. Are there any other questions that I can answer for you that I have not answered yet? I think that's it. So I will stay on until the end so that I can continue to answer questions, but I think I've answered all of them. You are welcome to sign off if you don't have any more questions. If you do, I'm happy to stay on. Please keep in mind that the recording will stay on, so please don't ask any personal questions as it will be posted on YouTube. Will the school be open if we need to drop off current immunization records? Yes. All office staff and administrators are back to work. And so you can stop by anytime. If you can also go ahead and email it if you prefer by scanning it in and sending it over to me, and I can forward it to the right people if you prefer. If you do decide to bring it to campus, please make sure that you wear a mask. We do require masks to enter campus. So I'm going to stop the recording and end the session.